What's up, guys? Bear with me a second. Let me share this out a little bit. Let's see. Hang on one second. Um, I definitely want to talk about, um, I want to talk about some of the stuff that goes into what we do. And because over the last few days, I've had some people asking, how do you get into this or how do you get into that? And or what should I charge for this or or charge for that? And while those are definitely important questions that you need to figure out as a new artist, no matter how you fit into the game, whether you're a penciler, an inker, a letterer, colorist, whatever the case may be, um, you need to figure out what gets you seen and you know what can get you out there to get more eyes on you and the work you do. um I think a lot of people want to um jump into what we do, and they think they can just show up on day one. Let me close that down a little. They think they can show up on day one and get the same money that everyone else is getting. um and it just doesn't work that way. You want to be able to, like I said, get eyes on your work. uh um um okay, so let's look at it this way. All right. I was trying to give it a chance for some folks to jump on. um let's look at it this way. um if you want to get seen, you're gonna have to do a ton of work to get seen. You can't show up on day one and think that everybody and their mama is going to give you a cover to do. Now we're not even going to talk about excuse me, we're not even going to talk about big companies or any of the big three or any of the other companies like IDW or Dynamite or any of that. Let's just talk about we'll get to that in a moment. But let's talk about doing covers for indie creators, doing covers for retailers, for maybe some of those bigger company names. um you know I see it day in and day out where artists are getting frustrated, artists are getting annoyed because they're not gaining enough traction yet. And then I look at their work they're posting and I'm like, you're not gaining traction because your work, my work's not perfect by any means, but when I look at some of these new artists' work, they haven't invested the time yet. they're not ready to do covers. I don't say that to them, and I'm not going to, but just speaking in general, when I look at a lot of these people posting art, you haven't invested the time. You haven't grinded for, not even a year straight. And you're frustrated because your art isn't where you think it should be, or people aren't paying enough attention to your art like you think they should. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I think I've got that thing set to let me double check just to make sure I've got that video set to you know, public or whatever. Okay, yeah, it's on public. Okay, I thought I did. Um, yeah, let me know if you guys can hear me okay. So you see that a lot right now. Hey, what's up, Jason? Thank you. Is you got artists, they see what we're doing, they see the money that we're making and the attention we're getting, and then all of a sudden they want to do it. And they've been drawing because I don't give a shit if you've been drawing 10 years. It's irrelevant because you haven't been drawing 10 years. You've been drawing once a week, once a month, once a year for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? You haven't been drawing 6, 8 hours a day, 5 days, 6 days a week for 10 years straight. So your art's not on par. So I see the posts and I see people getting upset and I've told some of them before, you got to chill out. You got to not let it get to you. But here's some hard reality for you. Unless you're drawing that kind of way where you're drawing, 4, 5, 6 hours a day, at least 5 days a week, you're not ready. You're just not. You're not ready to meet deadlines. You're not ready to draw, elaborate designs that a retailer might want for a cover or an indie creator might want for their cover. You don't have the visual vocabulary to it. And I mean, hell, I've been doing it 5 years every day, 5 and 6 days a week for 5 years. And I mean, I still have tons of visual vocabulary that's not full yet. You know what I mean? I have to look up reference photos for certain poses and things like that because you usually don't have that kind of stock built up till you're like, 10 years, 15 years plus doing it day in and day out. So you can't sit around and be pissy and being woe is me because nobody's paying attention to your art or nobody's buying these little, commission posts that you throw up and you just started drawing, 2 days ago. That's not how this works. I grinded for a year straight, anywhere between 4 to 6 hours a day, 7 days a week for a year straight before I ever put myself on social media. So at least I had some of the vocabulary, visual vocabulary kind of in my head and could get away with a lot of art that looked good, that looked decent. But when you're having a lot of fundamental issues where your eyes down, you're drawing a face and one eye's down here and one eye's up here, then you're not learning the fundamental rules and you're trying to get people to pay you money for mediocre art. And you don't want to do that. It's not fair to yourself. It's not fair to the people giving you their hard-earned ass money. I don't give a shit if you are selling it for $10 or $5. That's irrelevant. You want to put your best foot forward and try to put out the best work you can. So the first thing you need to be doing as a new artist is you need to be grinding those hours every single day, 7 days a week, to help build up that muscle memory and the hand paper, experience. That's the first thing you need to be doing. And in my opinion, you should do it for a year straight before you put yourself out there. Because like I said, two things happen when you draw anywhere between 2 to 4 or 5 hours a day, 7 days a week for a year straight. Two things happen. One, it teaches you to be consistent. It teaches you to do the grind day in and day out, whether you feel like it or not. And before anybody says anything, oh, well, I work a full-time job. I did too. Okay. So you can stop with that bullshit ass excuse. I worked my insurance job, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. And then I drew anywhere between, 3 to 6 hours a night, 7 days a week. And most of the time on Saturdays and Sundays, I did another 8 hours on that day of drawing. like I said, though, but by you doing that, it teaches you how to be consistent. It teaches you to draw no matter how the hell you feel, whether you're tired, whether you're sick, or whether you're bored. Whether you want to rather go play video games or watch TV. It teaches you how to put all that shit aside and do what you got to do to get work done. So it teaches you that. And then it also, by doing it that way, those, anywhere between, 2 to 6 hours a day, 7 days a week, about every 3 months or so, maybe 4 months, you'll see really solid leaps in your artwork to propel you forward. Where stuff's starting to make sense and things starts to be a little bit more familiar with you. You start doing art faster. And then the other thing that it does, like I said, that's the first thing was it teaches you to be consistent. It teaches you to be responsible and to treat it as a job. But then the second thing is it gives you tremendous leaps in your artwork over that time frame. That way even though you might be selling art for $10 or you might be selling art for $20, whatever the case may be, at least you're selling art that looks better. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, again, hard love. Some of you are trying to sell commissions for art that is jacked up. And I don't know how else to say that other than it is what it is. And it's not because you're a terrible artist. It's because you haven't invested the time to learn shit. You haven't learned some of the basic fundamentals about how to line eyes up and how to get proportions correct. You're drawing these design in the face looks like it pulls down one side because you're not paying attention. You don't know what you're looking for. And that's not a style. That is just lack of experience and lack of knowledge on what you're drawing. So that's the first thing is, in my opinion, you should be grinding, 6 months to a year, anywhere between 3 to 6 hours a day, 7 days a week to learn the fundamentals, ingest as much how-to videos as you can. There's tons of great artists that have how-to videos on YouTube, from drawing basic structures of the body to drawing heads at different angles to drawing, more elaborate stuff later on with perspectives and buildings and grids and so on. You got to learn that first. And then the second thing, once you've done that, once you've got a bit proficient and you're drawing stuff that is very recognizable and it's decent quality and things like that, then you can start putting yourself out there for not only commissions, but looking for possible cover work. But you can't come onto the scene never having published any damn thing and your art being mediocre at best and want people to pay you $200 to draw a cover for them. That's not how the shit works. So you need to be realistic about what you deserve for your level of work. I even though my prices for my covers are a bit lower than what some people in my lane of quality and popularity is, sure, it is. Do I need to increase it? Sure, I do. But I haven't increased it in the last few years because I'm comfortable where I'm at. It's not a big deal. But yes, I do need to increase it. But you can't roll onto the scene. You just start drawing, 2 days ago. You can't roll on the scene doing mediocre work. You have no history. You have no fan base. You have nothing proven that shows me you're capable of this or that, and that I'm going to sell your book because people want to buy your book. Even though I might have a single spot on each one of my Kickstarters that's meant for someone that's unpublished, that doesn't mean that I can hire you to do a cover when your art is mediocre or terrible. And again, I know that sounds like some hard love, but look, you haven't earned the right. You haven't earned it, to the experience and everything you haven't put in to earn, given those opportunities. So, like I said, the first thing you need to do is practice. That's the first thing, where you can draw stuff and it's pretty recognizable and it's decent quality. And that's only going to come from time and experience. You can't decide 6 weeks ago, I'm going to be an artist, and throw up a damn commission list saying, hey, pay me $80 to draw a headshot, and your headshot looks like something a sixth grader drew. I'm sorry. There's tons of great artists, Danny, on YouTube and stuff like that. David Finch, Jim Lee, tons of others that do incredible how-to videos. You know, but you need to learn the basics and the fundamentals. You know, start drawing headshots and at different angles and things like that, so you can do headshots on blanks to generate some, uh, some work. But but you have to be realistic about your pay too. If you've never published anything, you have no following. Even if your artwork is pretty cool looking, it's decent, you can't expect an indie creator to pay you $200, $300 to do a cover for their book. You don't. They can't sell your book at that point. You know, they don't know if they can make any money off you. And that's why we hire people to do covers. It's to help sell our books. It isn't because we're trying to just be goody and give everybody a chance to do a cover. And we don't mind paying a fair price for fair work. But I'm not paying you $200 to draw a cover for Psycho Sal, and your artwork is mediocre at best. Like I said, don't get me wrong, I got that one spot that I always give it to someone who's unpublished on each Kickstarter, just to kind of share the platform a little bit. But even on that, it has to be artwork that is sellable on my end. And even in that scenario, I can't pay you $200. And it's not because I can't afford it. It's just the work doesn't equal the money. So as a new artist, the other thing you're going to have to eat a little bit of is humble pie, and realizing what I charge for commissions is not what you can charge. David Finch charges for commissions is not what I can charge for commissions. You have to eat a little humble pie and realize that, and that's one of the reasons I don't really answer those questions when I get it about, hey, what do you charge for this, this, and this? And I ask people, like, because I can kind of tell when I see it's an artist, I'll be like, look, are you asking me that because you want a commission, or are you asking me that so you can figure out what to charge for your art? Oh, well, I'm trying to figure out what to price mine at. Okay, well, what I price mine at is irrelevant, because I've got a following, I've got 5 years invested, I've got 70 plus published covers, I've got guaranteed rep that proves that my commissions are done in a timely manner and they're done in a certain level of quality, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You haven't earned any of that. You haven't done any of that. So you don't have that platform to go, oh, I charge the same price as that guy does or that girl does. You don't. So you got to eat a little humble pie when you're first starting out and realizing you're not $100 sketches. You're not $300 full bodies. You're $20 sketches, you're $40 sketches, give or take. Now, don't get me wrong, you can charge whatever the hell you want. It's your work, your project, you do what you want. But I'm just telling you from realistic standpoint, if you want more work, this is kind of what you have to pay your dues. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a sprinkle of a, mystic unicorn every so often that comes out the gate with this just incredible ass artwork that, that they have been drawing for 15 years, day in and day out. And they just now decided they want to put their artwork out there. So, but we're not talking about those people. That's rare. We're talking about the people that, hasn't drawn in 10 years or hasn't drawn in 2 years. And when they do draw, it's once a week or once a month or it's once a year. And then they decide all of a sudden, hanging around all this other artists that, oh, I want to do that. You got to be realistic. You got to be honest with yourself, and you're going to have to work for low wages to get your stuff out there, whether it's building a platform of fans, because I did the exact same thing, even though I came out the gate with decent quality stuff, because I grinded for a year straight before I revealed any of it to anyone. So I put in a year at 4 to 6 hours a day, 7 days a week for a year solid before I ever put myself on social media to sell art. And that's one of the reasons I did so well coming out the gate, because I did that building that platform first, so to speak, of drawing. And and even then, when I went live and I was, created the art group and I was selling commissions, I was doing headshots, for like $40, or $30. And I was doing like full bodies with background and color for like 100, the first few published covers I did for indie people were free, just for the exposure of having a book with my name on it. There was a few of those covers I did when I first started out that it was free on my end, but they had to pay my colorist his $100 fee for doing colors. So you have to be realistic, and you got to eat a little humble pie and understand you're not anybody at any moment at that time. You know what I mean? You're not one of those rare unicorns. You haven't put in the year's worth of work, at least in my opinion, minimum to get to the point where you're wanting people to pay you $300 to do a cover. You're not a $300 cover artist. I'm just sorry, you don't have the talent, you don't have the fan base, and you don't have the proven work history to where we don't have to worry about hiring you and then have to fight you to get our damn cover finished because you had to go play golf or you had to go watch these playoffs or this football game or you had to play the new Call of Duty or get on Fortnite or do your imaginary Twitch streaming shit. So we don't want to have to fight with that, and you haven't proven that. So like I said, you gotta remember that you're going to have to start off at low prices on stuff, whether it's commissions or cover work. And you're going to have to promote the living hell out of yourself. If you're not posting art every single day, you will not make it in this business. Now, or you better have a nice, pair of cleavage. You can show the video every 5-10 minutes. That'll help you get you some attention there. You just may not want that attention. But anyway, it does work. So you got to be realistic. You got to understand how it works. You got to understand why we, established artists with a library of books under us, so to speak, for printed work, consistent, track record with everything that we do with art related stuff, whether it's commissions or whether, it's covers or etc. You can't roll on the scene and try to charge what we charge. If I see your artwork and I kind of like it and I send you a PM, say, hey, would you like to do a cover or cover Psycho Sal, or you sending me a message, which is how it usually works. I don't really send messages to anybody for Psycho Sal. I've been lucky enough that most people ask me to do it. Now, of course, when I'm getting the bigger names on my book, I'll send them a PM, say, hey, I'd love to have you on the project. And then when they tell me what their prices are, they've earned those prices. You know what I mean? But if you send me a PM as a new artist, you go, oh man, I love Psycho Sal, I want to do a cover for it. Or, hey, I love the stuff that Charter Comics is doing. They're going to tell you the same thing. Your pay's got to make sense to what you are, and if you send me that PM and I look at your page and it's a piece of art posted, every 2 or 3 weeks or every 2 or 3 months, and it's mediocre, weak art, I'm not going to hire you to work on Psycho Sal. And I'm definitely not going to pay you some kind of, $100, $200, $300 to do a cover when you have absolutely nothing that proves to me you're a $200, $300 artist. I'm sorry. You have to earn that shit. It is not handed out, and you walking in thinking you're owed it is ridiculous. I had someone last issue of Psycho Sal that sent me a PM, and their work is okay. It's not bad. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, well, have you done any published work? He was like, no, not yet, man. I'd love for yours to be the first one. And I'm grateful of that. That's cool. And then, like I said, it was just pencil work. So it wasn't inked. It wasn't colored. He's just a penciler. And I look at the work and I go, I was like, okay, that's not too bad. It's kind of, it's not bad. It's pretty cool looking. What's your rate? Oh, I charge $250 to do a cover. I'm like, well, didn't you just tell me you've never been published? Well, no, I haven't, but that's going to be my rate. Well, you're not going to get it. Like I said, he's not published. He's not an established artist in the sense that, he doesn't have, a solid following of supporters that's buying his artwork or doing commissions for him. Look at his page. He's not posting a whole lot of art, so he's drawing occasionally. You can ask that if you want to. Again, I'm not going to tell you you can't do something in the sense of telling you how to run your situation. I just mean in the world of realistic, common sense, of pricing, I'm not going to pay you $200 or $250 to draw the pencils for a cover and you've never done anything. You know, that's just not realistic on any level. And that's not me being cheap. I pay plenty of people plenty of money to do covers for Psycho-Sal and stuff like that, interiors, etc. So it's not an issue of being cheap or anything like that. It's just an issue of being realistic. So that's what you need to do. I get that question a lot. Artists, what do I need to do to get into this, to be professional, to be getting covers? Well, step one, you need to draw, 3 to 6 hours, 7 days a week for a year straight. And I don't mean sitting in front of the computer for 2 hours trying to figure out something to draw, or sitting in front of the computer or on your phone for 2 hours trying to figure out something to draw. Set your ass down, draw 3 to 6 hours. Just pick your favorite damn artist and just start recreating every damn thing they did. Start out with headshots, work on that till you get, profile shots, quarter shots, straight on, until you have that down and the eyes look right and the nose looks right and everything's where it's supposed to be and the face isn't distorted because of, lack of skill. So that's the first damn thing you need to be doing, is drawing like that. If you're not doing that, this isn't for you. And again, this is just my opinion, and I'm speaking from experience because that's how I did it. And I understand not everything is everything for everybody. But in my opinion, you need to put in that time frame before you're charging anybody any damn money for shit. Because it's not fair to the people that are buying from you if you're not putting your best foot forward. And it's not fair to yourself, because you're not spending time practicing. You're spending time drawing weak art for people. And that's not right. Again, it's not fair to yourself, and it's not fair to the fans that feel sorry. Because I'm telling you right now, you can get pissed at me if you want to, but the people that are giving you $10 for your piece of art, or giving you, $5 or $20 for your piece of art, they're buying it because they feel bad for you. They're not buying it because they're a fan. Now, for the most part. Now, of course, that's not, there's always an exception to the rule that somebody just likes, they want to be your fan. You know what I mean? But they're not buying that $10 piece of art because they're just going crazy for that piece of art. They're doing it because they feel bad. You're posting on Facebook, oh man, nobody likes my art. Nobody bought a commission this week. I'm like, really? Because you just started drawing 10 minutes ago. That's the reason nobody's buying anything from you. So there's some hard love for you. Stop posting shit on Facebook looking for work until you're to a level that you can do the work. Okay? So put in the time, put in the energy to draw, earn that respect that you invested the time in there. And again, that'll be a win-win for you across the board. Like I said, if you draw that if you draw that 3 to 6 hours a day, 6 days or 7 days a week for a year straight, like I said, it teaches you two things. And one is it teaches you to be responsible. It teaches you to grind the art instead of watching football or any of this other shit that distracts you. It teaches you how to, meet imaginary deadlines and things like that. You set goals for yourself, etc. Oh, I'm going to have this piece done within 3 hours. I'm going to have this piece done within 6 hours, etc., etc. And then the other thing is it benefits you in the sense that you'll see huge leaps in your artwork about every 3 or so months. I mean, huge leaps, like almost day and night to a degree. But you don't get that by drawing once a week. You don't get that by drawing once a month and shit like that. It's not how it happens. What's up, Mark? Be safe, man. Yeah, I'm leaving in the morning for Memphis. I gotta do Memphis Comic-Con this weekend. So I leave in the morning. So that's the first thing. Then the second thing is be reasonable in your thought process about your prices, especially if you're a brand new artist and or colorist or inker, whatever the case may be. But I'm talking about artists at the moment, since that's what I do. I'm a cover artist and illustrator. I do covers for retailers and indie projects and stuff like that. And I do commissions for fans. Be realistic. As a new artist, you need to work for some exposure. Now, there's good exposure and bad. Do not work for exposure, in my opinion, for a IP that is not established. If that's their first Kickstarter and they've never done shit else, so there's no track record of, completed Kickstarters that went to print, that got shipped out to fans, stay the hell away from that shit, even as a new artist, because the majority of those will never see light of day. And you working for free right out the gate, you're biting yourself in the ass, because they have not proven themselves. And when I say working for exposure, it doesn't necessarily mean you're working for free. You could be like, hey, you know what? I'll do it for $50, and you send me 10 comps of the book when it's printed. Things like that. Again, you're brand new. You haven't done shit. You don't have a fan base. That person is, whether it's a retailer giving you a shot or whether it's an indie creator giving you a shot, you have nothing they will benefit from. You get what I'm saying? You don't have the fan base that you're bringing to the table. You don't have the history of work that you've put out to bring to the table that proves to them you can do the work in a timely manner, and they don't have to, fight with you about the work. So be realistic about that. Charge $50 or whatever to do something. That's still technically working for exposure in a form. But in my opinion, stay the hell away from damn indie projects that haven't done shit. Stay the hell away from that. Because like I said, where you haven't done shit, they haven't done shit. I get people trying to get me to jump on that shit all the time with the whole, hey, we'd love to have you on the project, but we don't really have the money up front. Can we pay you on the end? And I look and I asked them, okay, well, how many Kickstarters you done? Oh, this will be our first one. We're ready to rock and roll. Man, I wish you the best. My fee is this, because I bring more to the table than they do. So I'm not doing it for free. Now, have I done Kickstarters or retailer exclusives for people that I know and given them discounts for my labor? Yes, I have. Even to this day, I've done it. Now, I'm probably going to, like I mentioned the other day, I'm probably stopping that soon, other than the people I truly know have my back. Because I used to just give the discount for any Kickstarter, that wanted to hire me, as long as they sent me extra books. But even I got burned on that shit. There's 4 Kickstarters right now that have not seen the light of day that I have done cover art for, giving them that discount to get more comps of the book when it got printed, and they probably will never go to Kickstarter. So even I've gotten burned. So that's, from this point forward, I don't give anybody a discount other than the established people I've worked with multiple times over and over and over and over. They are the ones I'll give a discount to, because I know they've got a guaranteed track record of how they've treated me and how they've done their fans of their IPs. Now, those are established IPs, of course. But no, stay the hell away from that. But if you have a creator out there and you really like their book, or you just want to get some books floating around, don't be afraid to reach out to an established creator or retailer. Now, obviously, you got to use your mind again. A retailer's not going to hire you if the artwork isn't cool looking. Okay? Because they need to sell the books. And again, as a brand new person, your art's probably not that good, and you do not have the fan base to help that retailer sell the book. So that's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a minute before you get to that. So you're going to have to do some indie books first. They're your best shot. But you're going to have to be realistic. You're going to have to go, hey, I love your IP. I saw you did last Kickstarter. I would love to do one of your covers for one of your books if you can squeeze me in, and I'll do it for, $50, or I'll do it for free, and you just send me, 5 comps of the covers when they're published, or something like that. Because that's what matters as a new artist, is you have to generate that fan base as quickly as you can, because those are going to be the people that's going to help you be successful. I know a lot of artists lose sight of that. They lose the idea and the concept that fans are what make this possible, and they act like shitheads, or treat people like crap, in the industry. that is what it is, and it'll be part of the damn game forever, sadly, because people can be petty. But you got to guard yourself, but you also have to, be willing to do the work for almost nothing to get you some books floating around with your name on it. You got to do that. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. You can't come on the scene as a brand new artist and expect them to pay you $300 to do a cover or pay you $200 to do a cover. It's just not going to happen. To be fair, most indie creators don't have the money to pay that. That's why you don't see a lot of big names on books. I mean, shit, there's very few Kickstarters out there from like regular indie people that have any big names on their books at all. It's usually people you've never heard of. Now, that doesn't mean it's not cool looking art. It's just probably people you've never heard of. A lot of times it's people out of Brazil and other places like that. Like a lot of indie creators don't hire local because local is trying to price themselves higher than what Image Comics pays or higher than what Marvel and DC. I mean, I saw a guy the other day talking about he was looking for interior work and his art was pretty damn cool. And he was wanting a page rate that was more than what Marvel and DC pays. Like he was wanting I think it was like $180 a page to draw the line work. That didn't include color or anything, just drawing it. Now, don't get me wrong, his artwork was cool looking, but there's no indie people that's going to pay him $180 a page. It's not happening. I mean, like I said, Marvel and DC, I think their pay ranges start out at like 120 or something like that for a new artist. And you can't sit back and go, well, my art is, superstar art, so I should get superstar pay. You can't really do that because you don't have superstar followings that sell the books too. You get what I'm saying? You have to earn that. Even if you come on the, like I said, even if you're one of those magical unicorns that just rolls out day one and your art is, insanely good, you've got to earn that still to a degree. Now, like I said, I'm sure somebody might pay that guy. I don't know. I know I won't. And I know a lot of other people that won't, including some of the big name Kickstarters. So you have to be realistic. You have to be smart about getting your name out there first. And again, this is just my opinion, but that's what I did. It worked for me. I mean, you can call it bullshit if you want, but I've proven it works. I grinded a year. I did that. I did some of the discounted stuff and the free covers to get my name out there. I did that. So everything I'm telling you right now is not me talking hypotheticals or anything like that. I'm telling you exactly what I did. And I get a couple Comic-Con appearances a year as an indie creator. I get a store invites, through the year as a creator. I've done 70 plus public covers, retail exclusives for Image Comics, Dynamite, etc. And so, what I'm telling you is it's definitely worked for me. I open my commission list twice a year and it sells out. What's up, Brian? All right, cool, brother. So, you have to be realistic. You got to. And if you got any questions, feel free to ask, because I'm not going to be on here long. I just I had gotten another PM like 20 minutes ago, right before this video. Somebody was like, how do I get some cover work? And so, I was like, I kind of gave him a little bit of the idea or, speech that I kind of giving you guys now, but a shorter version, of course. But this is it. There are no shortcuts about none of this shit. There's no magic trick, that we're hiding from you to keep you from getting better at art. There's no magic trick. Like I said, unless you got a nice, pair of cleavage. There's, and I'm sorry, y'all can call bullshit on that all you want, but it works. Why you think so many people do it? But anyway, that's a different ballgame. But there's nothing, like people keep asking us, how do I land covers? How do I land covers? By doing the work. That's how. How do I get better at comics? How do I get better at drawing this or drawing that? You sit down and you draw it until you hate it. How do I get better at drawing feet? You draw feet until you see the shit when you close your eyes. How do I get better at drawing buildings? You draw buildings until you can close your damn eyes and see the buildings. You remember the days when you were younger and you went to the theme park and you rode the roller coasters, and you rode like one of the roller coasters like 20 times that day, and then on the entire drive home you could feel the roller coaster, like you could close your eyes and actually see the coaster. That's what you got to do. You have to draw it until you're sick of it, and until you have it done to where you can close your eyes and see it. You know, um, it's and don't get me wrong, even with Rob, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's always going to be things that we try to hide because we hate drawing it. I mean, there's tons of other artists out there, even besides Rob, who will hide feet. I've done it plenty of times. Hide it behind boulders, hide it behind smoke, hide it behind what other characters, etc. Lots of people do that. Yeah, that's what a lot of it is, Michael's building that muscle memory. I mean, it's one of the reasons, like, even like for myself, when I'm drawing, especially Batman, there's a reason that every time I draw Batman, it has a lot of Jim Lee in it. I've watched so many videos because I love hearing Jim Lee's stories. When he's doing panels at cons, I've watched hundreds of hours of Jim Lee videos where he's at Comic Cons, hundreds of hours of his Twitch streaming where he's showing you how to draw this and that. And of course, he draws Batman a lot in those moments. And so that's one of the reasons, like when I draw Batman headshots and stuff like that, that's why it looks a lot of it looks, well, hell, all of it to a degree looks tremendously like Jim Lee headshots. It's all, that's the muscle memory that I fed into my head of watching those hundreds and hundreds of hours of those videos with him. It's the same way. Sometimes when I draw female characters and they have a bit of like kind of like Michael Turner-ish feel to a degree, or even maybe a little J. Scott Campbell with lips or something like that. It's all that muscle memory that you create for yourself, where you like the way this artist draws hair, so all the hair you do favors that artist, or you like the way this artist draws eyes. And like David Finch will tell you, he's like, that's what you do. Pick out all the stuff from all the other artists that you really like. You like the way this guy shades. You like the way this person draws lips, or this person draws hair. Pick it all out and add it to your memory, because that's one of the easiest ways to learn things, instead of just trying to remember how all hair is supposed to look, or remembering how everybody's lips are supposed to look. Well, their lips are this way and their lips are this way. Every artist does it. They borrow from other artists. They create this virtual memory to help with their muscle memory. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you got to do it first. Like I said, there's no shortcuts. You can stop asking people that question, how do I get better at this or better at that? The only answer, the literal only answer to that age-old question is do the work. That's it. There's no super secret thing to drawing a head a certain way. There's no super secret thing to drawing eyes. Just learn the fundamentals and practice. That's it. But like I said, you got to be realistic about your pricing. You got to be realistic about who you are as an artist and what level of the game you're at. And like I said, you have to eat a little bit of humble pie. You can't come on the scene and try to compare your artwork to someone that's been doing it 5 years, or compare your prices to what that person that's been in the business for 5 years has their prices set at. So like I said, keep that in mind. Reach out to indie creators, say, hey, here's some samples of my art. If you're ever looking for artists, let me know. I'd be willing to do the artwork for free, or do it for $50, and maybe a few comps of the book when it's printed. Don't be afraid to eat that. But like I said, now make sure you're saying those words to a credited IP, someone who has done multiple Kickstarters, who has been successful and fulfilled them, And it's not some damn Kickstarter that got funded, but still waiting 5 years and people haven't gotten their shit. Stay the hell away from any of those people. And in my opinion, sadly, stay away from anyone that's their first Kickstarter, because it doesn't have a fan base. It doesn't have an established history, and there's no guarantee that it'll see light of day. So but anyway, so anyway, that's just my thoughts, my opinion on it. Like I said, you don't got to like it. You can choose to use it or not. But if you want to get work, you probably should listen. And if you want to get your name out there sooner than later, you probably should listen. Because like I said, this isn't me speaking hypotheticals or what. This is me telling you from experience how I got to where I'm at right now and what I've been able to accomplish in 5 years. Because I mean, really and truly, whether anybody else wants to admit to it or not, a brand new artist 5 years in that has a solid fan base built, that has their own IP, that has been successful in every Kickstarter and has generated the fastest producing book on Kickstarter that I'm aware of. Like I said, we've been averaging about a month and a half to 2 months between each issue of Psycho Sal, and the books have, went to print as soon as the Kickstarters, well, almost as soon as the Kickstarter's over. Within a couple weeks of the Kickstarter ending, the books go to print. And that's not me throwing shade on other Kickstarters. It's just I pre-do my books before they go to Kickstarter. They're like 98% complete unless we have to fix something we overlooked and we caught in editing and stuff, the final checkovers before we sent to the printer. And that book's done with really good quality, great quality for the most part, in my opinion. Great covers, great interiors, great everything about it. What's up, AJ? So that, I've proven myself on that front. I've proven myself that I can meet deadlines and things. I mean, an artist that's been in it 5 years that can say that they've got their own IP that's 5-ish, next month will be 5 issues deep and successful in every single one. And then on top of it, 70 plus published covers in 4 years, since 2019. I mean, so I think I kind of know a little bit of what I'm talking about. So, take the advice and run with it, because you, as an artist, you definitely couldn't ask for a better time to be an artist or an inker or a color or anybody. With social media and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all this other shit, that gives you these platforms to, show yourself to the world. You could not ask for a better time. Now is the best time to be successful. Like I said, it's not pre-internet. It's not pre-social media. You can be seen at any moment. So you want to make sure you're being seen with at least some decent work. There's nothing wrong with sharing your progress posts and things like that where you're learning and you're training yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, in my opinion, if you're not putting out at least semi-quality work, you shouldn't be charging people money. You shouldn't be selling anything. You should be learning. You should be practicing. You should be grinding. Again, just my opinion. But take it however you want to. Most people are going to tell you the exact same thing. But yeah, just, don't worry about what other artists are doing. Don't worry about what other creators are doing. Keep your head down and just grind. That's it. That's the secret. There's your super secret that we all have. To be successful, you have to give up all the shit around you and grind. There you go. So hopefully you got a spouse or you got a family that can be supportive and be understanding. If you're wanting to make this a career move for yourself, because it's not part-time and you will not be successful doing it once a week or once a month or any of that other bullshit. You're going to have to hang up the football nights. You're going to have to hang up the basketball nights, the Call of Duty nights, the the hang out with the guys and have beer nights. You're going to have to hang up a lot of that shit until you get a fan base building. Then you can slow down a little bit if you want to. But until you get to that point to where you have the fan bases, the work under your belt to help sell yourself to a future project, you're going to have to sacrifice every damn thing around you to do it in a timely manner. Now, if you don't give a shit how long it takes you to get to the table, then you do it however you want to. But if you're like me and I don't have 30 years to have, to get to where I'm, semi-known, and have a decent work library under my belt, that's the grind you have to do. That's the reality of it. But anyway, I'm going to get off here, grab some dinner. You guys have a wonderful evening. I hope some of the information I gave you is a little helpful. I'm sure some of you probably not going to like what I said, and that's okay. If you don't like it, keep it to yourself, because I don't care. I'm not looking for feedback on it, and I'm not looking for critiques. People were asking. I've had people ask in the past, and I've never really spoke up too much about it. So I figured I would just kind of do it. But feel free to do whatever you want to with the information. I wish you all the best with whatever you try to do. I really do. I mean, I want to see more artists and creators coming into the mix. I don't look at it as as a threat or anything like that. I want to see people succeed. I want to see people come in with the younger audiences being, attracted to art and taking part in it and keeping this, theme called comics and this theme called art rolling into the next generations. And the only way we can do that is by making it accessible for everyone and giving them as much help as we can. I'll never understand the petty shit. I'll never understand the, I can't promote nobody. They might take my money. I don't get the shit. It's stupid. The platform's so massive. It doesn't matter how good you are, how talented you are, how pretty you are. You cannot do all the work. So therefore, there's work for everyone. So, but anyway, I'm going to get off. Don't forget, tomorrow I leave for Memphis, Tennessee. I will be at Memphis Comic Expo this Saturday and Sunday. And then next Wednesday, am I going up there Wednesday? Yeah, I'm going up there Wednesday because it's like a 6-hour drive. Next weekend, I will be at Cowtown Comic-Con in the Fort Worth, Dallas area. That's a great Comic-Con if you've never been to it and you live in Texas. You really, really, or near Fort Worth, Dallas, you definitely should come to that show. That's a great con, extremely affordable and a great lineup that they do every year. And it's a big con. It's not itty bitty, so don't get it twisted. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful night. I'll talk to you later. Be good.